voice. Have you ever wondered what Katy Perry might really be like? We have the answers this morning.
Gary, the arena guy, is here this morning with some behind-the-scenes looks at what's going on with some of the biggest concerts that have happened in Columbus this year. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning. How are you?
Little
Good to see you guys
Katy Perry
again.
there right off the top.
What a great show, and what an enthusiastic crowd, too. A couple of interesting things. We decorated her dressing room. She's a huge Hello Kitty fan.
Really?
Yeah, even at her age, she loves Hello Kitty. So we've got a photo up here. I don't know if they show, but we did a display of all this Hello Kitty toys and merchandise, and Katy and her assistant put on tiaras, and they were having a great time before the concert putting that on.
Oh, that's funny.
Also, the photo right there you're seeing, there's the Hello Kitty.
Oh, there's your Hello Kitty.
Yeah,
Perry.
she absolutely loved it. She was like a little girl again. And then the photo you saw with the giant Katy coming out of downtown Columbus at nighttime with all the great lights.
Oh, right there.
Yeah, Katy saw that and said, "That's awesome, but you made me look like Katy Zilla." And her mother was in the room with her, and her mother said, "I love this. Can we have it? Can we take it?"
Oh, wow.
So they took that home.
That's
They've got a permanent souvenir.
That's very cool.
Interesting thing, too,
Columbus.
Katy's father is a pastor, and he was before the show at the soundboard. And a couple of diehard fans recognized him, so they went up and asked if they could have a photo with him. Other fans noticed, said, "What's going on?" They recognized her father. Before long, there was a long line of people wanting to get their picture taken with Katy's dad. And pretty soon, we had to cut off the line because it was getting too crazy. So Katy Perry's great.
Talk about the Black Keys. They come from here.
Black Keys are from Akron, but they've got a great history here in Columbus because before they hit the national scene, they played the clubs and bars here and everything.
Right.
They had a very special guest on the guest list and on the parking list, a guy named LeBron James. They're good friends. They both live in Akron.
Sure.
And he was on the guest list for tickets and had a VIP parking spot in the loading dock area where those people park. Not sure if he showed up. He did show up at the OSU football game the next day. But that was one thing. And Dan Arbach, they opened their tour here. And so they're here for a few days for rehearsal. He rode his 1920s antique Harley Davidson with a sidecar to the rehearsal. Can you imagine seeing that going down Lane Avenue?
What happens when somebody like LeBron shows up for a concert? I mean, does that just create all kinds of chaos in the arena?
A lot of times we'll be in a suite or in special sections. So it's
less chaos.
Yeah. Usually it's not too bad.
The fact that no one's sure he was there tells me he maybe wasn't there. Because
Well,
you would notice.
it'd be hard not to see LeBron James.
Right.
Also, Dan Arbach has a boxing room he takes with him on tour, and his cousin is his trainer. And then let me read this because Patrick Carney is not quite so ambitious. He travels with what was described to me as a small exercise bike. So boxing versus an exercise bike.
Let's talk about Fleetwood Mac because it was big news.
Fleetwood Mac was awesome because Christine McVie was back after 16 years. She actually called Stevie Nicks after 16 years of gardening and taking it easy in England and said, "What would you think if I came back to the band?" And Stevie Nicks said, "Christine, this is your band." She came back. We've done Fleetwood Mac several times. They've always been fantastic. But I will tell you, this time it was magical.
It was magic.
I think it put a spark in those guys that they didn't have. Well, that they always had, but an extra spark. It was truly magical.
Christine McVie had seen that one.
Yeah, and Lindsey Buckingham's guitar solos were beyond awesome. Lindsey Buckingham, speaking of him, he told the chef when it was time to eat dinner to fix his steak. "Well done." And the chef said, "Okay." He said, "No, you don't understand. Well done. Burnt. Burnt so much that you'd be embarrassed to serve
Hockey
it."
puck.
Yeah. So
that's how they like it. All right.
We have a big thing to talk about this morning.
We have to get right to.
We are giving away these tickets.
Very exciting announcement. Gary, tell us what we have.
I'm excited to give them to you.
Yes.
Coming up August 18th at Ohio Stadium, the iconic Ohio Stadium.
Ohio Stadium.
One Direction.
One Direction.
And I brought a pair of tickets to give away.
That's incredible.
Now listen, we're not doing it right yet.
We're going to do this at the end of the show.
We do have tickets.
But we have One Direction tickets.
To see One Direction at the shoe. Oh, moms and dads. You want to make somebody happy when they come home from school today?
When
you
was
win
the last
these.
time we had a concert at the shoe?
It was 2003, Metallica. It's been 12 years.
Has it really?
We're also doing the 2-day Buckeye Country Superfest with Blake Shelton right here.
That's right.
And and Kenny Chesney and Keith Urban and Rascal Flatts from Columbus.
Yep.
So that's big. And then, of course,
Lot of
Taylor
stuff.
Swift, 2 days coming up.
Right.
So lots of great shows coming
You
up.
can check it out, too, all on their website. If you want to check out the Schottenstein Center's website or Nationwide Arena,
Or
you can find
go to
out
the
more.
arena guy.
And go to Gary, the arena guy, for all the background info, too. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you. Great to see you guys.
You too. Stick around because we are going to give out those tickets later
are
in the
coming up
show.
later on.
Woohoo!